My name is Mike Johnson. I used to be the boss of the Johnson Mafia, known as the largest in the Pacific region. However, that was only until recently. Now, I've handed over the boss role to my son and am enjoying my retirement as the chairman, doing things I never had the chance to do before. One of those things brought me to this inn in Hot Springs. Before, during the time I was still an incumbent boss, I always stayed at luxurious hotels. However, now that I'm retired, I've come to appreciate the charm of a more rustic hot spring sanctuary. To get rid of the fatigue that I've been carrying all those years, a place like this is pretty great, huh? Geothermal mineral bathing sanctuary in the middle of a tranquil surrounding forest with nothing but mountains in sight. Haha. In the nearly empty inn, the floorboards creak as I walk down the corridor. In the relaxation lounge, there's a ping-pong table and an old-fashioned, nostalgic jukebox. After getting out of the open-air rock pools, I reached for a beer from the small fridge, which only had a few bottles inside. Nothing beats this after a bath, huh? Haha. Muttering to myself, I sat down in the massage chair that started working as soon as I put in a coin. After enjoying various things and leaving the relaxation lounge, I headed towards my room. On the way, there was a souvenir shop, but it didn't have much of interest. This is something, huh? Haha. None of these catch my eye at all. But then, I heard the voice of the innkeeper. Please, no more, I beg you. Look, lady, even if you ask me to spare you, haha, you're running a business here, right? We're making sure you can run your business smoothly. So that means we're in a good relationship, right? Haha. But I just can't afford it anymore. Why not? Haha. You've got this fancy inn. There's no way you can afford it. But hardly any guests come anymore. Then advertise more. Are you even promoting your place? Haha. Or maybe you're not. It's hard to advertise when you don't have the money for it. Look, nowadays, you don't need to spend much to advertise. Haha. You can do it yourself on social media. It doesn't cost a thing, and plenty of idle folks will see it. If you're not bringing in customers and complaining about no guests, that's on you, huh? But I've been doing that. It's just, this inn is falling apart everywhere. Then fix it. Don't let it be. Am I wrong? It costs money to repair things. Come on, lady, you need more guests, don't you? Then fixing up this inn should be your first step. Or maybe you could market its rustic charm as a selling point to attract guests. No one can complain if they come for the shabbiness, right? Well, yes. But even if I spend money to fix the damages, I can't recoup that investment right away. Don't give me a lesson in 101. So, I'm saying it's impossible to pay up now. Hold on, that's not what I want to hear. We're just asking you to pay the protection money fair and square. It's just that, and yet you're trying to dismiss it as impossible. But please understand that we don't have the money, no guests. That's not true. Have a look, there's an old man and house guest over there browsing souvenirs. Don't you see that? Treat your guests as if they are celebrities. Then, those guests might bring in more guests. But still, is that old man here alone? No, they are not alone. How many are in the group? There are 3 guests. What? You've got 3 guests. That's enough for the month's protection payment. Stop saying there are no guests when you have some. Yes, but even with 3 guests, the net profit is minimal. It's impossible to pay the protection money. Besides, I'm not running this inn alone. I have an obligation to pay salaries for my chambermaids, kitchen staff, and valets. How can I pay you under these circumstances? I don't care about that. That's your problem, not ours. Don't make me angry. Paying every month was an agreement made with the previous generation. That agreement was made when there were more guests and by the previous innkeeper, not by me. But the agreement is supposed to pass on to the generations and continue. This place survives even in such a remote location because it's within the areas of Smith Mafia. It's been safe because we've been asserting control over our territories all these years. You can't just ignore that now. Please, have mercy. Running this inn is hard enough as it is. Hey, I'm serious. Watch out, you're gonna get hurt. Keep saying you can't pay, huh? If you insist on not paying, then I can do whatever it takes to close your inn again, huh? No, please don't. We don't care, you know. We can destroy this rundown in any time. That's terrible. Then there'd be no mooring, and no need to pay protection money, right? Haha, right. That would solve everything. Wouldn't that be perfect for you, ma'am? Haha. Hey, ma'am. We're serious. You better have everything ready when we come back tomorrow. After saying this, the men left the inn, but I thought it was clearly a threat. The innkeeper crouched down, looking like she might collapse any moment after they left. Ma'am. I tried speaking to the innkeeper, who was utterly dejected. She looked at me with vacant eyes, but as soon as she realized I was a guest, she managed to smile. I'm sorry you had to see that. What happened? Those guys looked like mafia members. Ah, yes, they are. Unfortunately, I heard something about protection money. Yes, they're demanding protection money. As you can see, we hardly have any guests. On top of that, paying protection money every month has made running the inn very difficult. And now, they're demanding this month's payment too. That sounds like a harsh collection. Yes, that's why I'm thinking of closing down the inn this month. Really? Is that so? You're our last guest. I thought we would end without any more guests, but thankfully, we can finish our time as an inn with you here. Is that so? Yes. I've tried my best, but now it's beyond my control. Despite everyday cleaning, the interior and facilities are aged and tarnished. I definitely can't continue business unless I fix all the damages. Do you really think it's okay to just give up on this inn? It's embarrassing to tell you about my personal matters. Well, my grandmother opened this inn. She raised my mother single-handedly. It was this inn that enabled her to bring up my mother. She always used to say that. Then my mother got married, but my father was lazy and didn't like to work, so they eventually divorced. And once again, it was this inn that helped my mother financially. And now, it's come down to me, the third generation. I've tried hard to keep it going, but the protection money just keeps getting higher, and we can't afford it anymore. So even though I don't want to close it, I have no other choice. The innkeeper said this while looking around the inn. I see. So it's been a lifesaver for 3 generations of your family. Yes. That's what I really don't want to close it. But it seems there's no choice. I understand. I looked around at the old inn and then spoke again. Ma'am. Yes. If the protection money wasn't a burden, would you continue running this inn? Yes, if there was no protection money, I could keep it going, even if just modestly. There are guests who love this inn. I see. Which mafia were those guys from earlier? The Smith family. Got it. I'll take care of it for you. But don't worry. I may not look it, but I'm the consigliere of the Johnson Mafia, largest in the Pacific region. There's nothing I can handle. You're a gangster. Sorry to surprise you. The guys with me are capos. The boss was worried about me going to your inn in Hot Springs, so he sent them along. At first, I thought I didn't need them, but it turns out they might be useful after all. So, don't worry and just wait. I'll make sure your inn is protected. But, I don't want to be a bother. No bother at all. I was looking for something to do anyway. But, even if you help us, I can't pay you. We're really struggling financially. Don't worry about that. Just an old man's whim. Plus, this inn holds the legacy of your ancestors. I don't want to see it go under either. Besides, it'll be a good way to pass the time. Thank you so much. Don't mention it. We haven't even started anything yet. Saying that, I left the innkeeper and returned to my room. As I entered, the 2 capos who had come with me noticed my return and greeted me, sitting formally. Consigliere Johnson, welcome back. Hey, have you guys taken a dip in the open-air rock pool? No, not yet. I see. Before hitting the open-air rock pool, we've got something interesting to do. Interesting. Yeah, a bit of heroics. As I said this, the 2 exchanged glances, clearly puzzled. I shared with them what I had just witnessed. True to their rank in the Johnson family, they frowned upon hearing my words. That's unacceptable. Should we move in? Charging in with just the 3 of us isn't wise, not knowing their numbers. It'd be pointless if we end up getting beaten. So, contact your boss to gather more backups. Once they arrive, we'll make our move. Got it. Upon hearing my instructions, the capo, Tom Wilson, immediately contacted the boss. The boss, upon hearing the situation, promised to gather our soldiers and send them over. That was the next day. I received a message from the boss saying the soldiers had gathered and were on their way. As I sat on a sofa in the first floor lobby, waiting for further contact, the same soldiers from yesterday showed up again. Lady, you know why we're here again, right? Give me your protection money. The two soldiers from yesterday entered, shouting loudly. Consigliere Johnson, it's them. Jer, seems they beat us here. What should we do? Shall we beat them up? Before that, let's try talking. If we start a fight here, it'll scare the inn staff. Right. While we were discussing this, the innkeeper came out from the back. She looked extremely troubled. The employees stopped their work and watched, wondering what would happen. Yo, lady, you got the money ready, right? About that. Again. Again what? Don't tell me you can't pay. I'm very sorry, but we can't pay such an amount of money in a situation like this. Go on the street and make money. You can make that much in one night. Stop whining about it. Saying this, one of the men knocked over a vase that was on display at the front desk. The beautifully arranged flowers fell to the floor, and he stepped on them. Hey, don't get rough. What did you say? Sir, don't you know it's illegal to collect protection money? Even in a secluded hot spring town, you can't escape the law. Who the hell are you? Some kind of cop? No, unfortunately I'm not a cop. Heh. The law doesn't apply to us mafia. Idiot. These days, if you don't know the law, you'll be busted. Just because you're mafia doesn't mean you're above the law. Shut up. Don't you dare talk down to us. You're just an in-house guest who believes in so-called therapeutic benefits. If you don't want trouble, just back off and watch. That's not gonna fly. I made a promise to that lady yesterday. I don't care what promise you made, but I warn you not to meddle in our business. Are you sure? It's you who shouldn't be sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. What did you say? The ancient? Who do you think you're messing with? No, I don't. So what? Just small-time soldiers, I guess. Who are you calling small-time soldiers? We're the Smith family, a well-known organization here. It's our territory. Anyone who messes with us cannot escape. Duh, you'll regret it. Anyway, if your organization needs money, get lost, do it somewhere else, and be smart. Where and what we do is our business. Lady, if you're looking for help, the ancient won't be of much use. Haha. Unfortunately, I am indeed the ancient, but I've got two young ones right here. Do you really think you can beat them? 2 on 2, huh? Don't think we'd lose. Haha. You guys really don't value your lives. Consigliere Johnson, shall we take care of them? Consigliere. Don't know which consigliere you're talking about, but don't think you can beat us. We've never lost before, you know. Yeah. Ideally, I don't want to start a fight inside the inn. I glanced at the innkeeper. Her face was pale. A brawl here could further damage her beloved inn. That would surely sadden her. Let's take this outside. This place is fine as it is. I don't want to cause problems by breaking things in the inn, you know. Can't you even understand that, idiot? Who cares if stuff in this rundown inn gets broken? It's going to close down soon anyway. Why would it close? That depends on the innkeeper, but if she doesn't pay the protection money, closing down will be her only option. Haha. I see. Rotten to the core, aren't you? But you see, I don't want this inn to close down. I don't care about that. Wilson, take these guys outside and beat them down. Understood. At my command, the capos approached the two soldiers, grabbed their arms, and threw them out the front door. What the hell are you doing? Just doing what the consigliere said. We're gonna crush you. Haha. What? Say your prayers. You've messed with the consigliere of the Johnson family. You'll soon feel the consequences. Johnson family. Yay, that's right. That man is the consigliere of the Johnson family. Lucky for you, he's not the one dealing with you directly, otherwise you would have been in real danger. We won't go as far as taking your lives, but you'll learn your lesson. Cut the crap. We don't care if it's the Johnson or whoever. This is within the Smith family's territory. No matter how famous you are in the Pacific region, every place has its way of doing things. A brawl doesn't care where you're from. You're just annoying flies. Hey, finish them off quickly. If we keep this up at the front, it might scare away any potential guests. Yes, consigliere. So let's get this over with. With that, the capos charged at the two soldiers. Startled by their speed, the soldiers tried to escape, but there was no letting them go. Once caught, the fists flew, striking the men's faces. They were quickly subdued and lay on the ground after receiving the final blow. Idiots, thinking they could take us on. They're as helpless as babies. Just then, Wilson's phone rang. "Excuse me, consigliere. You have a call from the underboss. Our soldiers have arrived and are waiting in front of the Smith family's office. They arrived pretty quick, don't they? All right, take these guys as a souvenir." "Understood. Ma'am, do you have anything to tie them up with? We need to make sure they don't start acting up all of a sudden." "Oh, yes, I'll bring something right away." The innkeeper hurried inside and came back out with some rope. "This is all I have." "That's fine. It's just for tying up trash." I handed the rope to the capos, who then tied up the soldiers and dumped them into the inn's van. "Ma'am, I'll go settle this matter. Wait for the good news." "Thank you so much." As the van started moving, we headed towards the Smith family's building. The building they occupied was nothing to brag about. Seeing the frequent comings and goings of members, it seemed they had a fair number of people. "Hey, how many members does the Smith family have?" "Heh, it's a big organization around here. Less than 50. "What? Less than 50, and you call that a big organization? Don't try to make jokes that aren't funny." "What did you say? Don't underestimate us. 50 is plenty. The Johnson family has 500. 50 is hardly a match." Hey, why are there so many cars parked around here?" Indeed, around the Smith family's building, there were quite a few sedans, wagons, and other vehicles parked. "Well, this should be enough." I said this and got out of the car. As soon as my presence was noticed, my men who had been waiting in the vehicles jumped out. All of them stood at attention like military trainees. "Good work." What's all this?" "These are our soldiers." "Not all of them, of course. I'm not foolish enough to think just 3 of us could take on the Smith family. There are so many. With this many, even if the Smith family has 50 members, we should manage, right? Now, let's go say hello to Mr. Smith, your boss." I led the way to their office located on the 3rd floor. Behind me followed the 2 soldiers and 2 capos, along with the underboss who had rushed to join us. We were more than prepared for any surprise attack from the office. I rang the doorbell and waited for someone inside to open the door. A man, presumably an associate, opened it. I stepped inside and paused in the middle of the room, then threw the 2 tied-up men onto the floor. "What's all this?" "A gift for you." "A gift? Who the hell are you?" "I'm Mike Johnson, consigliere of the Johnson family." "The consigliere of the Johnson family? Why would the consigliere?" This Smith family boss was visibly shocked by the sudden appearance of the Johnson family, the largest in the Pacific region. Realizing the need for a diplomatic approach, he invited me to sit down on the sofa. However, his members in a room were tense, ready to spring into action at any moment. "I don't mind sitting, but can you calm your soldiers down? In this tense atmosphere, it's hard to have a peaceful conversation." Yes. "Hey, you guys sit down. And you, get some tea ready." Following the order, the Smith soldiers sat down, though the air remained charged. "Is this satisfactory?" I nodded and sipped the cheap tea provided. "Now, could you tell me what happened?" I looked intently at the Smith family boss, then turned to the 2 men with a wry smile. "It seems your soldiers have been demanding exorbitant protection money." Actually, I'm currently staying at the inn we are talking about, run by a beautiful innkeeper. Now I'm a retired boss and just beginning to enjoy my retirement days. So, I plan to try the geothermal mineral bathing sanctuary and recharge my body, mind, and spirit. That inn, it's a nice place. Have you ever been there?" No, I don't usually go." "Well, that's how it is. People often overlook what's close. You should try it sometime. The place has a really cozy atmosphere." "I see. Just make sure you don't let them know you're a mafia when you go." "Huh? Yes, of course. It seems you understand, Mr. Smith." The trouble it causes for an ordinary business when mafia show up. Of course, if they know we're mafia, it scares away customers. Knowing that, Why do your guys show up at the end in such an obvious manner? That is it because you're in the middle of extorting them? Well, right. But these days, collecting protection money isn't acceptable. That's true. Exactly. You understand, right? Such actions can attract police attention, and your men get busted. Despite this, why are your guys demanding outrageous protection money? It sounds like a clear threat. Well, we've been experiencing financial difficulties. If that's the case, there are other ways to handle it. You don't need to shake down an inn that's also struggling financially. But protection money is a long-standing tradition. And what of it? Do you really think an inn on the brink of closure can keep operating under such demands? The mafia of old used to operate on a neither let live nor kill principle. But what you're doing seems more like a takedown, and your methods are excessively harsh. Even if you say that, Mr. Johnson, your organization is quite large, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't interfere with our business. Oh, and what's that supposed to mean? We're not under your umbrella, nor are we related. This is our territory. I'd prefer you didn't meddle. I see. So you're saying I should use force to make you understand? You're saying if you're not forced down, you won't understand, right? No, that's not what I didn't come here to fight. I came to talk. With these methods, ordinary business owners will be driven away. Even in a prime commercial area, if no one runs a business, what will you gain? Won't your income disappear too? That may be true, but then it's better to settle things peacefully. I understand what you're saying, but protection money is an important source of income for us. We can't just give it up. That's troublesome. I'm saying I don't want to fight, yet you don't seem to get it. Well, every place has its own way of doing things, just like you have yours. As he said this, the Smith family boss stood up, looking like he was about to charge at me. Then, the other members also began to raise their fists. But the two men who were tied up desperately tried to stop them. Stop, boss. There's a bunch of Johnson family members outside. If we start a fight, we'll be crushed. Boss, please stop. Then he approached the window. And there, a flood of vehicles and Johnson family members. No way. The Johnson family came all the way from California. Don't underestimate the Johnson family. If I call, this many members will show up. You guys, stop. If you don't want the group to be crushed, stop now. When Smith shouted, the movements of the members who were about to fight stopped. If this is the kind of organization you run, maybe it'd be better off crushed. No, please, that would be a disaster. If the organization falls, it's not just me. All the members will be left with nothing. Please, don't crush us. The boss, who until moments ago was furious like an bull, now returned to his seat, showing submissive behavior like a puppy. Seeing this, all the members had no choice but to remain still. So whatever the boss does, your men do. You really are loyal to Mr. Smith. Yes, these guys are good men. Please, I'm begging you, don't destroy our organization. Do you think just asking for forgiveness is enough? Well, perhaps not, but we won't collect protection money anymore. We'll find other ways. Please, just don't destroy our family. As the boss said this, he bit his lip, looking like he was sour grapes as he admitted to losing the deal. If you promise never to do it again, I'll consider it, but it's not that simple. You've been collecting a lot from that inn, right? Then, return all the money you collected. I don't even know how much we've collected over the years. Right, I figured as much. You wouldn't know the exact amount. So, we won't collect anymore, and then, instead of paying back everything, how about a nuisance fee? A nuisance fee? Yes. Let's say about $2 million. $2 million. We don't have that kind of money. There's not that much in our safe. Then borrow it. It just so happens I brought a loan shark here. Convenient, right? A loan. We'll lend you the $2 million, and you can settle it with that. All right, I agree. I'll have those two pay it. Wait. Boss, no way, we can't pay. Quiet. You're the ones who caused this. It's your responsibility to borrow and pay it. All right, that settles it. Call Carter and take care of the loan process. With that order, Wilson took out his phone and called Carter. Soon enough, Carter arrived, and I instructed him to proceed with a loan with 2 soldiers. You two are debt of $1 million each. You'll work it off on a crab fishing boat. It's not too bad, just a bit cold, but you'll get used to it. Just don't fall into the sea, because if you do, no one can save you. That would be the end of it. Boss, don't cry. Do it for the family. Hang in there. As the 2 were taken away, I returned to the inn with my capos. Welcome back, and welcome. Sorry for startling you. I then took $1 million cash from Carter and handed it to the innkeeper. This is the nuisance fee we took from Smith's family. Use this money to rebuild the inn. It might not cover everything you've paid before, but at least it's something. And don't worry, the Smith family won't bother you again. If they ever do, let me know immediately. I've decided to take this inn under my protection. As long as I'm around, nothing like this will happen again. Thank you so much. I don't know how to thank you enough. No need for thanks. Instead, let these guys enjoy the hot springs. They've come all the way from California. Let them have some of your delicious food too. All this. Of course, I'll pay. Just put it on my tab. Don't try to give me a discount. I'm Mike Johnson, consigliere of the Johnson family. I can afford it. Thank you, truly. And for looking after our guests too. Don't mention it. They're all my dear crew members. Hey, no acting like mafia here. Don't trouble the innkeeper. We're staying tonight, then heading back tomorrow. The capos were thrilled to discover the myriad of open-air rock pools and sensory caves. The inn staff quickly got busy preparing rooms. Several months later, I received an invitation. It was a heartfelt letter from the innkeeper filled with gratitude, inviting me to experience the refreshed inn and hot springs.